it's Ashley from theawakenstate.net, and today we're going to do something a little bit different. I'm creating a new series called Creating a Spiritual Life. So we're going to talk about home spirituality and practical spirituality. This is a huge thing of what I love to teach on, and I really wanted to dive deep into this topic and how we can start to apply more practical principles into our daily life. Now, see, the majority of what I see is people seem to have this hard time coping with spiritual awakening and the real life and learning to balance our spiritual self and our real self into one integrated identity. And I really see this happening a lot in the spiritual community, where we have this hard time either dealing with reality, we have a hard time dealing with our life, we have a hard time in our relationships, and we have this confliction between the spiritual self and the material self, the physical self. And a lot of this might stem from our belief systems, but what it really comes back to is we have this belief that the spiritual identity and our real self, our material identity, are separate. And in reality, they are one. They are one interconnected system. So where does that leave us? Well, we need to start learning how to bring back spirituality into our daily life. And the easiest way I know to do that is by doing a deep dive into the areas of our life that truly need spiritual maintenance, that really need that level of authenticity. And we need to start learning to tap in more fully to our spiritual self and start to learn that we can take away that separateness, and we don't have to struggle to integrate our spiritual self into our real life because they are interconnected as one. How do we bring spirituality back into our daily life? Well, the majority of what I see is it's almost as if we have like this different headspace of like, we feel that our spiritual practice needs to be separate from who we are in the physical, as if we're living like this double life. And as I've learned about this topic over the years, it's the exact opposite. It's about learning to bring everything into balance and clarity with who we are as our identity. And it comes back to, it's an identity issue, because we're not learning how the mirrored conversations we're creating are all influencing each other. So spirituality can be traced into our career. Spirituality can be traced back to like how we are evolving with our children. Spirituality can be traced back into our relationships and how our soul is growing. All of this stuff is interconnected. And what I really see is there's this thing where it's almost as if we feel like we have to get into a completely different headspace to start applying these principles to our life, as if meditation is, our fail-safe. And if we don't have that meditation in place, it's like everything's chaotic and all hell breaks loose. But that's not necessarily true. Spirituality is a part of our identity. And if it's part of our identity, it's part of who we truly are. So how do we get back to spirituality in our daily life? Well, we can start with our home life. So asking yourself, do you feel peaceful living? Do you feel peaceful living in your home life? Do you feel supported? Do you feel connected? Do you feel that your home environment is peaceful and safe for you? That's a beautiful place to start. The other thing is to start looking at our physical space, the space around ourselves. And this is something I keep in check all the time. And lately I've been neglecting it, and I notice the shifts. So our physical space, is our environment cluttered? Is our environment cluttered with things that don't even really serve us anymore? Is our environment cluttered with old debris and things we don't use. Our physical space shows us how our energy is operating. So if our physical space isn't at its optimum potential, then we start to feel that in our energy, in our mindset. And so when we start to look at the law of vacuum, the best thing we can do is learn to create physical space. In order for the energy to flow freely, we must learn to create more space. And the easiest way to create space is to declutter the space. So this isn't hard, people. This is about look around at your physical space. Does it feel cluttered? Does it feel kind of like, the energy is just stagnant and stuck? Then the easiest thing we can do is start to declutter that space, which frees up the energy. And literally, by the law of vacuum, nature abhors a vacuum. So that space becomes replenished with new energy. So number 1, your physical space. Look around you. What do you feel? Is it a place of peaceful living? Is it cluttered? Do you need to do some organizing or redecorating? Does your space fully express you? Like, our spirituality is so much more than just a mindset. It's also about our physical space around ourselves and allowing ourselves to express that outward into the world around us. Number 2, who do you surround yourself with? I will say time and time again, proximity is power. When we have a disconnect showing up in our relationships and our friendships and our business, in whatever area of our relationships, it always comes back to who are you surrounding yourself with? And are they hindering you or are they empowering you? Because I've learned time and time again, I learn fastest when I'm in a group of people who are at the same level I am and we're masterminding together. And that is whether I was in a group coaching program, that is whether I've been in a Facebook group where I was learning with other indigo children, like way back when. And we accelerate in growth together. Because if we're being around people who are draining our energy all the time, who are constantly causing us to self-sabotage, who are really putting us down and putting us back into that triggery headspace, then those people, and it's not them, they're mirroring our insecurities back at us. In our highest good, we need to release that energy to free it up so we can align into the support systems that will pull us forward. If we're not allowing ourselves to do that and find those groups of people, or even if it's just one person, we're not allowing ourselves to feel the support and the connectivity of the universe working with us. So number 2 is, who are you surrounding yourself with? And are they hindering you or empowering you? And start evaluating that. In the energy management toolkit, I call it our psychic circle, and we go really deep into it. But it's really about understanding, who are you surrounding yourself with? Because that proximity is influencing your results. And the people that you are literally meshing with is the vibrations that you are interconnecting with. So are you with a group of people or a person who is elevating you forward and moving you above yourself? Or are you in a place where you are being brought down? Because that is an indicator of where we really need to grow, and also where we need to release and detach. So that's number 2. And then number 3 is your daily routine. I feel like I've learned the fastest when I start incorporating more spiritual principles into my daily routine. So this could look so many different ways. So it could be like journaling in the morning. It could be like being very mindful as you're doing the dishes. Like listening to inspiring podcasts or high vibe music to get you in a powerful headspace. It could look like turning on tunes in the morning and dancing around your kitchen. It could look like just being really open and mindful with your children. It could look like making sure you have healthy habits in place that you do every day, like brushing your teeth and showering and making sure you get dressed and not neglecting your body and making sure you stay nourished. It can also look like being more mindful when you're eating. Put away the damn phone for 5 minutes and eat mindfully. It could look like just getting more mindful in your daily routine. It can also look like where do you have a spiritual practice in your life? And if you don't have a spiritual practice in your life, what would nourish you the most? What would nourish you the most in how you are creating in your life? So think about that. Like, what really lights you up as a spiritual practice? Is it journaling? Is it meditation? Is it yoga? Is it a nice walking meditation? Is it more physical exercise? Or is it creativity? Maybe it's just expressing yourself more. Whether that's through video or art or music. What is that thing that really pulls you? And start to evaluate, are you doing that daily? Because our daily joy is our ultimate spiritual practice. And I just like to tell you, sometimes it might not be meditation. And this is really powerful because you start to see that it's not so much about the thing as it is about what state it's bringing you into. Because our spiritual practice is about cultivating more joy and feeling good. It's bringing us present. It's bringing us into alignment with who we truly are. So what we're craving isn't necessarily meditation. It is an alignment practice. An alignment practice is getting you present. It's getting you mindful. It's getting you into the state of awareness. It's getting you into the state as the creator who is present in the now. That is what will ultimately pull you forward. So let's review. How to start bringing more spirituality into your home. 1, your physical space. What does your physical space look like? And are you decluttering that space? Do you have a decluttering ritual? Sometimes I'll make like either a weekly or a seasonal ritual of decluttering. I'm about ready to head into my summer decluttering ritual. But just starting to establish that will help literally clear space. And I'm talking about like we can move beyond meditation. We can start looking at how can we incorporate more daily rituals that infuse more practical spirituality in our life. And 2, who do you surround yourself with? Are they hindering you or empowering you? Our psychic circle is so powerful because it's directly influencing our vibrations. It's directly influencing our beliefs and our patterns and our habits. And it's really powerful to realize that if you are like a coach or a teacher or an empath even, and you're desiring to step into more of that energy, then you need to find more and more people who are already at the level that you desire to be, versus getting brought down by the people who aren't seeing your vision, who aren't supporting you, who aren't being at that same place as you. And understand that it's okay if they don't see eye to eye with your vision and your experiences, but it's more so about, are they cutting you down or are they empowering you? Because that's make it or break it for me. So establish those boundaries. And number 3, your daily routine. What are you doing in your daily routine that you can make a small conscious habit into supporting your spiritual practice and bringing more mindfulness into your life? All right, so that was a lot to think about. I'm so excited for this series. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments, and if you have any questions, leave them below. Remember, the universe is inside of you, always.